Hi Taurus, this is Jody with Soul Purpose Tarot. I am in Carmel, Indiana. I am a Libra Sun, Capricorn Rising, Sagittarius Moon. If you've been here before, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, what I normally do is I don't want all of those, flip, fly, fall, various tarot cards. We'll just say anywhere from 5 to 7. And then I clarify with other oracle cards that I have. So let's see. We've got 2 cards here. I feel like this is... 2 fell out at the same time. I'm trying to figure out which one goes first. Okay. Ace of Swords in the first position. New beginnings on some front. Judgment card in the reverse position. Okay, so you got some news on something. So now it's kind of like you were waiting on something. You got the news. Now it's kind of like, okay, now I can move forward. I found out what I was waiting for. Queen of Wands in the reverse position. Queen of Wands in the reverse position. But you haven't moved forward yet. Why have you not moved forward yet? Ace of Wands is, or not Ace of Wands, Ace of Swords is new beginnings. You're not thinking about it anymore. You're not worried about it anymore, but you're not moving forward on this new plan just yet. So let's keep going and figure out what's stopping you from moving forward on your new plan. Your new life, your new thought process, your new whatever is going on. Knight of Pentacles. Something about lack of money. So the Devil. Bad habits. Okay, so, all right, I'm gonna 1 or 2 more. Let me get a couple more. This feels like this has to do with some old negative programming that is, it's like the Tower. All right, well, I want that card. Queen of Pentacles. All right, let's think about this. You have the ability to move forward. These 2 together make me think that you were waiting on something finally finished out, and you are able to move forward now. However, for whatever reason, the Queen of Wands is in the reverse position, so you're not moving forward yet. Something about your money, and I feel like it's money mindset, so it's like your money mindset's not letting you move forward. It's like somewhere along the line, your money got messed with from whatever just happened. And you're not completely out of the Tower energy because it's still in the reverse position, and the Devil has to do a lot with old habits, bad habits, addictions, obsessions, whatever. And the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. This makes me feel like some female energy. So maybe the spouse is yapping at you about something. Or some okay, let me just formulate this. Okay, so let me get into that energy here. So you can move forward, but something's stopping you from moving forward, and it feels like it's more about old programming, negative programming, fear mentality, lack mentality, money blocks. I don't want to go through that again, so therefore I'm having a hard time. It's like I feel like you're like ready to take off on a journey, and you had a bad experience on that journey the last time. And because you had a bad experience on that journey the last time, your old thoughts from that last journey are holding you back from moving forward. It's like you're still in that old tower energy. So I'm going to give like an example. Let's say you were going on a trip. You were driving in the car and you had a car accident on that trip. And you cannot let that go. And so it's like you've been freed up to like go on another trip, and it's like, but you keep having like, it's like you have post-traumatic stress syndrome. You keep having like the memories of what came up from the last time, and that's what's holding you back from moving forward. Plus you have some other people yipping and yapping at you, oh my God, I feel it. It's like, I feel like, so you're like all ready to go on your trip. Your vehicle is packed. You've got all your stuff. And the mother-in-law, fucking bitch that she is, hope you don't have a car accident like you did last time. And brings all of that back to you. That freaking sucks. People and their loud fucking mouths, people that should keep their goddamn mouths shut, that's the energy that I am feeling right now. And it pissed you off. And now you're like, I don't even want to go on this fucking trip now. Because if I have an accident, you know what? She's going to go, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. And so you have got yourself all wrapped up in all of this negative thinking. Oh, man, I can feel it. I feel it. I feel what's going on. It's like this anxiety and this anxiousness, and like I feel like you just want to punch somebody in the throat because you let them get to you. You're as mad at them as you are yourself. Oh, God. Sorry. I'm like, it's just like, I can see it playing out in my head. It's like you were kind of like you were in a good space. You were ready to take this trip. You were ready to move forward. And somebody got in and yanked you back into that old energy. Okay, so let's talk about this. This is as much your fault for letting someone affect you. So let's talk about how this happens. You got to stay away from the wrong people, for one. And you got to quit taking things that people say personally. You have got to understand other people's 3D programming and lack mentality and negative thinking. And you also have to understand how you have lived in that yourself for a long, long time. Because once you get to a certain point in your life, you'll be like up here, and someone saying stuff like that won't even be able to bother you whatsoever. You'll be like, yeah, she's always like that. She's never had anything happen good in her life. I'm way past that. I'm up here in the clouds now. I see the silver lining and everything. You haven't gotten to that point yet. You're still hanging down here on the ground where people like that can get in your head. So the things that need to happen is you need to quit hanging out with people like that. But you've got to block yourself from that kind of energy. How do we block ourselves from that kind of energy? Okay, so I got to get out of this energy right now. I feel like I'm doing a channeling here. Okay, sorry. Okay. Well, that reading went off in a different direction than they normally do. All right. What am I trying to find out here? I'm trying to ground myself again. So let's just talk about, let's talk about, I feel like I know what emotions you're going through. That was pretty clear. this has come up on several of my readings today. This seems to, something happened over the weekend that really got to a lot of people. And the reason I say that is because I had a big meditation cacao ceremony scheduled for Sunday. And people started dropping off like flies on Saturday, and then even on Sunday morning, things started pulling them out. And it was like there was this energy that just like sucked people out of this space that I was having. And I feel like that's what's happened with you guys. It feels like it's a collective conscious thing because it happened to so many people. It's kind of like a lot of people got up in their heads and got in a dark place, and like post-traumatic stress syndrome somehow took over a lot of people this week, and they got in a mood. Their emotions got affected by things. They got up in their head and they let their emotions get knocked down. Worried in the reverse position came up. Let me think about this. I don't feel like you're not worried. You really aren't worried that, like, you really aren't worried. This is, okay, let me spit it out here. You really were not worried that you were going to have another accident on this trip. And that wasn't really on your mind. The emotion that I got along with that whole thing, the feeling was, one, someone stepped over their boundaries and opened their mouth when it was none of their business. There's a whole lot of that going on right now. There is a whole lot of people saying things that they shouldn't be saying. A lot of people's old negative programming coming out. It's like verbal vomiting. It's like people's other bad habits are like, they're like throwing up all over you, and it's affecting you. It's like somebody's, okay, so that's kind of what they're showing me. It's like if somebody threw up on you, it would affect you somehow. They're the one that is sick. But if someone literally threw up on you, that would kind of make you feel icky. You're not worried that you're going to get sick from this, but it did affect your vibrations and it did affect your mood. And now you have to go home and change your clothes, and you kind of got that in your head and that vision in your head. And it's because it's not like you're like, oh my God, I'm going to have a car accident. It was their energy threw up on you and affected your energy is kind of what I'm hearing, seeing, feeling here. You're not feeling sad. You're not feeling grateful, because now it's just like all I keep feeling is like now you're just in a mood. You're in a pissy mood. You can't quite get out of this pissy mood, and you can't quite figure out why you're in such a pissy mood. So I feel like you're kind of going down deep inside, and you're trying to figure out, like, why did this affect me so bad? Why did that person's mouth and what they say affect me so negatively? I mean, you're really like going deep inside, asking yourself, what the hell just happened there? You're not feeling guilty about anything. I don't feel like you said anything. You just kind of probably stood there in shock when they said that. And then you're like, you just like went off the deep end in your head more than anything. It's not like you went off it for everybody to see. It's like you went off in your head, and now I feel like you're regretful that you just like let them in your space. Type of thing. I don't feel like you said anything, like you didn't say shut the fuck up. You didn't say anything like that. It was more like it was like a drive-by shooting. No, that's not what I want to say. A hit and run. That's what I want to say. It was like a hit and run an emotional hit and run. They came in, they went, and then they took off and just left you there. And you're like standing there like, what the hell just happened? And now you're left to pick up the pieces. Okay, an emotional hit and run. All right, that's what the name of this is going to be. You're feeling a little hopeless because you're like, you don't like going into this space. All I can say is okay, I'm done with these. We've got the emotions down. I get what the emotions are. Let's figure out how to fix this. Let's figure out how to keep this from happening again. Let's figure out how to stop these emotional hit and runs. What do the Taurus people need to do to not be so affected, so negatively affected by emotional hit and runs? What do the Taurus people need to do to stop being so affected by emotional hit and runs? What do the Taurus people need to do? Admire? How's that playing? How? Okay. All right. Okay. So, interestingly enough, this is what's coming to me. There's a gal that I watch on YouTube named Amy Satori. She does twin flame readings, and one of the things that she always says is when something bad happens, you say, thank you for my misery. Thank you for my misery. Thank you for my misery. In this case, you need to thank that other person in your head. You don't have to say it in person, or you can say it in person and say, thank you for showing me that I've got some work to do on who I hang out with, the stuff that I let affect my energy field. Thank you for showing me I've let this happen to me in the past, and I never knew exactly why I would get in a bad mood after something. I never understood what an emotional hit and run was before. I knew that somebody could put me in a bad mood, but I never really understood why my vibrations were like good here, and then all of a sudden they were bad. But you just cleared something up for me by your little stunt that you pulled. And thank you for showing that to me, and thank you for bringing that to my awareness, because I'm not going to let that happen again. And that's something that you can literally, like, it's like this happened and you're like, this time you are aware of what happened. You are aware of how you reacted. You are aware of the whole thing. And you're like, I'm not letting that, we're not going down that road again. I am not letting this kind of crap affect me like this ever again. You know, it's like you let somebody affect your mood for 2 freaking days because they had a mouth that they should have kept in their own lane. And you're like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not taking on their negative shit into my life. And I have done that in the past, and I'm not doing that anymore. And the divine masculine is showing up as a block. And that tends to be, okay, so, all right, so this is what I'm getting. Divine masculines tend to be, they don't talk about their feelings. They don't, a lot of times, you know, they were kind of taught big boys don't cry, big boys don't show their feelings, big boys don't, you know, whatever. And they've been taught to suppress everything. Hold it in. That's one of the reasons I think men probably, I don't know, I'm just saying this. I'm like, this is just what I've noticed in my life. I've had a lot more angry men in my life than I have had angry women. Women tend to process their feelings as somebody said, you know, we go to meditation, we talk about our feelings, we call a girlfriend. Men have been kind of taught they don't do stuff like that. But because men have not processed their feelings, they usually let it build up, build up, build up, build up, and then they just explode and they get like really super fucking angry at the world. Very seldom do you hear of women punching out their men. It's usually the other way. And I feel like that's where a lot of that manly stuff has come from. The anger and the suppressing of the emotions that men have done. And that has been a block. And this is not, you know, say what's on your mind. Don't hold it in. That just feels like that's kind of where that whole thing is going. And maybe that part of that is because my brother is a Taurus and I kind of, you know, I'm like, he doesn't get angry very often. And he doesn't say a whole lot, you know. It's like, I think he probably does hold it in, hold it in, hold it in. And when we were younger, oh my gosh, I pissed him off a couple of times. I mean, he like blew a freaking gasket. So I think this energy is like where I'm picking that up is like I'm kind of visualizing my brother in this whole thing. Solitude. Go into solitude. When something like this happens, go into solitude, write it out, journal it out, think it out, ask yourself questions. Why did that affect me so negatively? And literally just kind of keep asking yourself questions until you transmute that energy and it's gone. That's the only way to get rid of it, is like, don't hold it in, process it, get it out, do whatever, go for a walk in nature, and you know, don't let that build up inside of you until you get so angry that you literally want to punch somebody out or cuss somebody out or whatever. Numbing. Or numb. And numbing is not the way to process those feelings. Yeah, that wanted to come out. Return. Okay, let me think about that. Go into solitude and process the feelings. Quit numbing your feelings, doing whatever you're doing to numb the feelings because you've been burying them. Get them out in the open. Do what you have to do to get those feelings out of your system. Don't wait 6 months until you have pushed them down to the point where you either A, blow a gasket and literally punch somebody out, or you drink yourself silly, or you eat yourself silly, or you do something to numb those feelings. Quit burying those feelings. And I think that just means it will return you to balance. You need to return yourself to balance because that's what gets you out of balance. This is going to be a long reading. I can see it now. And your free will. I mean, you've got free will. You don't have to listen to a freaking word I'm saying. Nope. You do not have to listen to anything I'm saying. You can go right ahead and do everything your way. But as Dr. Phil always said, how's that working for you? Because I feel like I'm watching some Taurus sitting there. And again, I'm going to bring up my brother. I don't even know if he watches my stuff. He wouldn't admit it if he does. But I can see him like rolling his eyes at me going, you think you know everything, blah, 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 blah. You know what? Don't believe what I'm saying. That's all I got to say. Don't believe what I'm saying. I don't give a rat's ass. Unsubscribe and quit watching my channel then. All right. These are last words of advice for the Taurus people from your guides, from your higher self, past relatives, moms, dads, aunts, uncles, anybody that might have a good word of advice for you to lead you down this path of not letting people affect your energy. Doing, doing, doing. Whoa, they got a lot to say. That's nice. We like that. We likey that. Okay. Energy balance. Return to balance. Did I just not say that? I think I said that, didn't I? It'll return you back to balance. Energy balance. I think that's saying, listen to Jody. She knows what she's talking about. Tap into source. They're going to give you your best advice. And again, you don't have to listen to what I'm saying. You have the answers inside. Tap into your insides. Ask yourself, why did you get affected so negatively by what happened? Ask yourself why you felt like they were attacking your worth in that whole situation, because somehow this affected your self-love and your self-worth about yourself got tested or questioned. I feel like that was part of it. It was like you thought they were questioning your abilities, which made you question your abilities and your self-worth. Community and change are the last two cards. So how does that play in? Community, I feel like this is kind of a case of, oh, okay, you're not alone, and there are people out there that you can talk to about this. You know, I mean, find the people in your life that maybe are going through similar situations, or I feel like this is just talk to people. It'll make you feel better instead of holding it in. Again, I feel like the divine masculine or the masculine energy, which is the one that likes to hold everything in, push it down, push it down, push it down. Be like the women and talk about it. Get that out of your system. And you know what? You're going to feel a lot better. I mean, I just will guarantee you. But it's a path that you're going to have to walk down, and it could take you a while to get there, but I think you're going to feel better as you walk down and you see a change in how that all happens. So anyway, oh my God, this is 27 minutes. I am so sorry this is so long. Anyway, I'm done. That is the first half of March. I will see you guys middle of March. Thanks. Bye.